everybody? It's your boy Marcus Norman from Gentleman Style Podcast, your host to the number one podcast coming to you live in America. And today we have a very dynamic couple. I have fallen absolutely in love with their channel. They are incredible, and they are a part of a movement that I think is the new age, and it is going to really spark up a fire and a passion in 2021. I have Mr. Brandon and Amanda Neely, who are small business and financial professionals. They founded and ran a coffee bar called Overflow L3C from 2008 to 2018. Now they share their exceptional knowledge through podcasting and through developing personalized financial strategies for individuals and couples and a profitability strategy for businesses all throughout the United States. This couple is dynamic, but they also have a heart of gold. Their goal is to work with people to take charge of their cash flow, leverage their assets, and increase their profitability in ways that would make your grandma proud. We took some time today and tested the wisdom, and they are of the greatest generation and apply it today on Gentleman Style Podcast, and they are here to spill some tea for us. Let's welcome to the stage, likes, hearts, comments if you got them, Miss Brandon and Amanda Neely. Yay!
Yay! That was the best introduction ever, Marcus. Thank you.
Thank you. I like I said, I stalked you guys. Your channel is amazing. You guys are leading a charge that I think more people need to get behind. And I thank you for what you do and taking the time to provide such valuable content. It is so incredible and so amazing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So diving right in, what inspired you to go into the financial space? And how long have you been in the financial business? And why is it so important to you?
Could I start this, Amanda?
Yeah, go for it.
So we kind of accidentally fell into the financial space. So as you mentioned in the intro, we used to own a coffee shop, and in this coffee shop, we did it for about 10 years total. If you count the 2 years leading into the start of the business, right? You have to build a business plan, strategy, all that fun stuff. So, so we did that, and then we all of a sudden were pregnant. Amanda was pregnant. We are also caretakers of my mother-in-law.
Wow. And
life needed to change for us, because having a brick and mortar business, coffee shop, well, there's a couple things you can't do, like have your baby behind the bar. It'd be kind of illegal, and health department,
child labor laws,
all kinds of stuff. And we're like, well, let's make some changes. And so we sold the business, but we didn't have a next step plan. We didn't know what we were going to do. We were just like, all right, we're going to sell this. Amanda was like, Brandon, you need to go get a job. And so we were like, all right, I guess I'll go get a job. I'm not a very good employee. So my mentor now had a job opening, and I applied to work under him because I had used this concept that we're going to talk about later in our own business that helped us become debt-free, helped us use our cash flow to get better, more financially stable when crises happened in our business. And so my mentor had a job opening, so I applied, and he said, yeah, I can't hire you. And then 2 months later,
Brandon's too entrepreneurial. If you're going to be in the financial sector, there's a box you got to be in, and Brandon is not good at staying in that box.
And then he comes back to me and he says, I have an idea. How about you and Amanda both start your own thing, and I'll mentor you. I'll be your guide, and I'll help you establish your own business. And we're like, that sounds better than me working for you anyway. And Amanda was 8 months pregnant, so we're like, no one's going to hire her. So we might as well go back and start another business. And so we did. So that's the short answer of that long-winded.
That was not long-winded, and I thank you for that, because that gives a level of transparency that most people won't see behind the screens, right? There's always something that pushes us to the level of entrepreneurship. Any great entrepreneurs, just like you all, have a passion, a fire, something that drove you from the corporate world to entrepreneurship. So you are right in line. You guys are leading the charge in, I know what I used to know as a fire movement, but you all have developed a separate niche that is just on fire and is absolutely necessary, and it needs to get out. It's called the Fife movement. What is, Amanda, what is the Fife movement? Please help me out.
If you're familiar with the FIRE movement, it's financial independence, retire early. And kind of the idea is you work as long as you need, you save about half your income if you can, you build a big pile of money, and then you can retire early, leave your corporate job, go and do whatever you want, and live off the growth of your money. Well, for Fife, it's still financial independence, still the goal to be in charge of our own futures, have control over our money. But the FE stands for feminine and entrepreneurial. This is the movement for people that, like me, didn't want to work another day in the corporate world. I left my cubicle when I was 26, never been back, been charting my own journey. I didn't need a big pile of money to do that. I was a risk taker. I was an entrepreneur. I was going to do that. But at the same time, in kind of stereotypical feminine path, I still wanted my money to be safe. If I was taking this big risk with my time and my energy into my entrepreneurial endeavors, I wanted whatever savings I was going to have for the longer term or the medium term. I wanted my money on my personal side to be safer. I was more concerned about security. And so that's kind of this feminine approach to how we handle our money, where we don't want to necessarily risk it all in the stock market. Let's look at other places where we can still get a pretty good return, but not put it at risk, kind of like what our grandmothers would have done.
Thank you, Grandma. We love you, support you, and we appreciate it. And that was a great explanation. I love that feminine, right? Getting to the feminine independence, that financial independence, because what women go through in the workforce is absolutely incredible, because they're raising children, they're keeping a home, they're dealing with husbands, and they're dealing with all the daily problems of life. And so I love that stem, that branch that you and your husband have now created to also signify, hey, let's not forget about this. Let's not forget about that. And that's incredible. You mentioned something that I want to dig a little deeper on, because if we're not doing the traditional methods of saving and we're not using the stock market, I want to talk about what we are going to be using coming into 2021 and how we are saving our money and investing our money, yet keeping our financial money safe. And right after this commercial break, we'll be right back. You guys stay tuned and stay engaged. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I have the incredible, the dynamic, the amazing Mr. and Mrs. Brandon and Amanda Neely on Gentleman Style Podcast Show today, and they are spilling all the financial tea, and I absolutely love this. Miss Brandon and Amanda, you all don't use a traditional savings account as what we were taught, what I was taught. You all utilize what the rich utilize to save and invest your money. What are some options to help me and my audience save our money like the rich?
Yeah. Go ahead, Brandon.
You want to go ahead, Amanda?
Okay. Okay. So most people know, especially since 2007, 2008, savings accounts interest rates have just been horrible, right? You're not
Garbage.
getting very much growth on them. You might as well just keep your money in a can underneath your bed or something. So a lot of people have been their eyes have been open to where our grandparents, the greatest generation, used to store their wealth that they wanted to use for, additional funding for retirement, for paying for their kids' weddings, for buying cars, for all the things of life, right? That you put your savings to work like in your life. So, but you have to save up for those things. And what they used, and this might turn a lot of people off right away. All the Dave Ramsey fans are going to sign off the episode right now.
Right.
But keep an open mind. They used high cash value, dividend paying whole life insurance, what a friend of ours, Pamela Yellen, trademarked as bank on yourself. This concept where you can put your money into a policy, you have immediate cash value right away, starts earning dividends right away, and you can build up a pile of cash there that you can use throughout your lifetime. But it's also protecting you and your family in case something happens to you at the same time. Which you don't get with a savings account, right? If you something happens to you, your family just gets whatever you had in that savings, whereas this can protect you even more, or them even more. But also, like, it's not like throwing your money away at life insurance. You get to use it during your lifetime too. And what we've seen is that it beats savings accounts hands down really easy. It beats CDs right now. CDs have such low interest rates too. This isn't necessarily an investment vehicle. If you're looking at just pure stock market returns, what everybody expects, 7, 12%, you might not get that in a policy, just depending on how old or young you are, your age, right? Your health, how long you have the money to grow. But it's a whole lot safer than the stock market too.
It's true.
And I would add that our biggest investment is us as entrepreneurs. And so by really building that foundation of stability, really for us, even as a business owner, we needed stability, not more risk, as we were stepping into the coffee shop and all of that. And there were things that happened where we needed cash to get through certain hard times. And we didn't want a 10% penalty or all this other stuff. We wanted to be able to leverage and use that money as we saw fit. And so we were able to use the cash value in our policies to take care of the cost it took to start that brick and mortar business. Because, when you're a small mom and pop business, banks give you money, but they give it to you at a cost.
True.
And what's happening right now, I believe in the 2021 going into, is all these loans and all this stuff is going out, but there's a cost associated that small business owners are going to be like, oh, I got money at 20%, 15 or whatever. And so we wanted to control that. And that was really powerful for us and really helped us thrive as a business and ultimately be able to sell it.
Absolutely. And that is what the goal of my channel is to get people to a better financial place. And you all are experts in the field. And I love that. And so, we got a stimulus, $600, right?
Maybe they're still fighting, right?
Right. We're still fighting about it. We can't get, it's been months just to get this $600. But you all have in even before the pandemic discovered banking on yourself in a new and unique way to leverage your money outside of the bank. You all have essentially become your own bank. And you all are just taking charge of this opportunity. I have business owners on my channel, and a lot of my business owners feel self-conscious about taking money out of their own business and creating almost a stimulus for themselves. Should they feel bad? And why is taking profit from your business too selfish? And if it is, and if it isn't, please say why. And how much do you recommend a person take when just starting off?
Yeah. Could I start with the story?
You absolutely can.
So, and then Amanda's going to explain some of the details. So this is how it hit us. This was about 3 to 4 years into our business, maybe 5 years. We were thought we were doing amazing. We had taken care of a lot of our business that we had used the bank on yourself method to be almost pretty much debt free, and only debt we owed was to ourselves. And so, and we were ready to expand the business. We were going to have a lot of coffee shops is the idea. And so went to my attorney and said, hey, we have some great news. This is how awesome we are. And he said to us, he's like, all right, so you have no debt and you have a pretty good stability, but how much are you paying yourself? Are you paying yourself what you're worth? And that was a punch in the gut, because I felt like we were living on tips at one point, just tips, probably minimum wage below what even our staff was making. And we were like, man, we aren't paying ourselves what we're worth. We need to change that and make sure that we, as the owners, are getting the reward from our business. And I think if you are not getting the reward from your business,
Amen,
then you're hurting not only you're hurting your staff and the community around you. And so that was very personal to us, and that took us on a trajectory of what we're doing now with Profit First. So, Amanda, you want to take it from there?
No, you did a really great job, Brandon, of explaining that. I'd say if people like, this is definitely a mindset shift, but one of the mindset shifts we did first was thinking about, okay, we have this business, we bring in this amount of money, we make sure we pay our staff, our electric bill, like all the bills, pay our vendors, and then whatever's left is what we pay ourselves. That's our profit. And this whole idea of profit first is to take your profit first. So whatever money comes in, doesn't matter. You have a set amount that you're going to pay yourself, kind of a salary, which is strange for a lot of entrepreneurs, right? You pay yourself that first, then you figure out how to run your business, right? How many employees you should have, how much you can actually pay your vendors, you negotiate everything else. And if you did nothing else but do that shift, that totally started the transformation for us. And then there's a whole profit first system that was developed by this guy named Mike Michalowicz. He wrote the book, he promotes it a lot. And we're now profit first professionals to help people implement the whole system too. But we, I think for 2 years, just tried to pay ourselves first, right? And then run the business with the rest, which is very much like you save first, right? Like on the personal side, it's a lot of the same personal philosophies translated to business.
And that is where you two excite me, because Amanda, I'm sure you still are, but you were a very big activist. You were very in support in growing up, and you worked in nonprofits. You believed in helping the world, and a business shouldn't be able to profit from it, right? Or you're taking from the poor and making the rich richer. But you have changed that over the course of you guys' growth. How did that transition occur? Because that couldn't have been easy, right?
No. Yeah. It really, I think so. That first moment was, so I used to be a grant writer. I'd write grants for sometimes $100,000, right? Sometimes $10,000 to get money from foundations and give it to community activists, working on the grassroots level. And I remember my first site visit where I went with the funders to go see what their money was doing in a neighborhood called Back of the Yards in Chicago. Very immigrant heavy, poor neighborhood, under-resourced neighborhood in Chicago. And we arrived there, and I'm in my fancy suit trying to impress these funders. And I'm looking around and I'm like, these are my people, not the funders, these community activists, the people that they're doing this program with. These are my people. I need to be among these people, not whining and dining fancy rich people and trying to impress people that I don't even know if I like, right? When I was born, my parents were on public assistance, right? Like I identified more, these are my people. And so that was when I started to think like, well, how could from a grassroots level you transform communities without having to depend on outside funders who come in and just tell you what to do, right? How could you develop your own destiny, have that sense of control? And when I started looking into it, it was those grassroots businesses, those mom and pop coffee shops, and the ladies who would bake and sell their baked goods, to their neighbors. They were the ones empowering their community and keeping the money local, and stuff like that. And I was like, they're changing lives. And then when you look on a global scale, right, you go into Africa, it's trade there, and the things that bring people out of poverty rather than just give them a handout and keep them in poverty. And this, I was just like, okay, it's trade more than aid. I still love nonprofits. There's a really good place for nonprofits. So there's a needed place for relief, like giving someone a sandwich or a bed to sleep in, those are essential, but we need more development too, right? We need more jobs. We need more training programs, things like that. And so that's really what started that catalyst. And as I've seen it happen more and more and hear about more and more people doing that kind of thing, it just makes me even more excited.
And that's exciting. You all are exciting. You all, thank you all for tuning into the Gentleman Style Podcast. We are going to go to one more commercial break, and we are going to come back to the amazing, the incredible, super fragilistic, expialidocious Mr. Brandon and Amanda Neely. We'll see you guys soon. We'll be right back, going to pay some bills.
Are you a local business looking to offer your customers easy access to cash without having to travel miles? We're here to help. At Norman Legacy Investments, we provide free ATMs with free installation that provide a suitable investment for your business. Even better, we offer you some profit sharing and handle everything from start to finish. Just reach out to us today to schedule a free consultation.
Hey guys, we are back. We have the amazing and incredible Mr. Brandon and Amanda Neely from Grandma's Wealth podcast on YouTube, and they have a website, y'all, and they are going to share with us. They're spilling some major tea here about getting to a better financial place, and they are also certified Bank on Yourself professionals, and they have led families and homes to a better financial place. And that's what we need right now. That's what we need, is this community to wrap its arms around them, these two, and support them, because they are changing literally lives. And so in you all's experience, as you guys coach families and reach out and help people get to a financial place, what is the holdup? What do you think is the biggest holdup in people not wanting to invest in the Bank on Yourself platform? Well, I guess we can touch on this like this. What is Bank on Yourself from a 3,000 foot view? What is Bank on Yourself? Is it whole life insurance? Is it universal life insurance? Can I do it with term life? What is that? Let's start there.
Yeah. So Bank on Yourself is really a concept, a system. When you are choosing to bank on yourself to try this concept, your money doesn't actually go to Bank on Yourself. It goes to a life insurance policy, and it's going to a life insurance company, a reputable one that has stood the test of time, been profitable for at least 100 years. It has all the right structure and everything. So you have to be very particular about who you choose to use, like in terms of life insurance company.
Yes.
And then it only works with, so I mentioned that right structure. So they have to be mutually owned life insurance companies, meaning when you're a policyholder, you're an owner. That means you receive dividends when the company is profitable.
Love those.
Yeah, it has to be whole life so that you're receiving those dividends and it's safe. It's not tied to the stock market like other kinds of life insurance, like universal life. And then it has to have a track record of paying those dividends for at least 100 years. That's one of the criteria we use. And then the fourth one is the technical term for it is non-direct recognition, which is a little different than what's called direct recognition. With direct recognition, when you take out a loan, your dividend, like based on your policy, your dividends are impacted. With non-direct recognition, whether you have a loan against your policy or not, your dividends are unaffected. You continue to get the same dividends when you have a loan or when you don't have a loan. And so it's a big criteria that we use as well. Because if you that way you can take a loan based on your policy, but have your dividends growing as if you never touched it, so you don't interrupt compound interest for you. And so Bank on Yourself is really how we structure the policy, how we get it going to grow the best for you, protect your family the best, and it has to meet all those other criteria too.
Absolutely. And that's powerful. The reason why I wanted to point out, because that's important. Mr. Brandon and Miss Amanda are certified financial experts in this area, and it's important. There's a lot of posers out there. Yeah. I'm gonna only bring you guys the best because my audience deserves the best, and so I wanted to bring certified, proven professionals from the industry who can help my audience get to a better place, because there's a lot of people that have different versions of banking yourself. Oh, you can do it in a UL. Oh yeah, I can do it in this term policy. And one of the things she pointed out was that a proven track record, because like she said, you're investing in a company that has your capital. So you want to know that that company has gone through several recessions. That company has gone through several political leadership. Right? They have survived several depressions. So that is why Mr. Brandon and Amanda have brought that out, because they want to they only invest your money in companies that have that long-standing track record and have paid out through those pandemics and those recessions. And so that's why she mentioned that. I didn't want that to be overlooked. So thank you for that. Thank you for saying that. That's absolutely important. So my second follow-up question: why do you feel what in your professional expertise, what's holding people back? What's holding us back from making that transition?
Oh, can I answer some of this?
You absolutely can.
Some was whenever we got into this whole industry, all we knew was it changed our life. We watched this documentary called Banking with Life, and we're like, wow, this is powerful. We need to do this. Why didn't anybody tell us about this? And we just went in, and my mentor, Mark, helped us start our own policies, and we leveraged it a couple of times in that coffee shop, like I shared. But then we didn't realize that there's a lot of opinions out there about finance. We just were like, man, this changed our life. As we moved into this financial industry, we're like, this changed our life. Of course, everybody's going to want to do this. Why wouldn't they? But then we realized there's a lot of other money at play. Wall Street doesn't want us to take control of our financial future. I think they kind of like want us to keep needing them. And I think that there's another factor that just the marketing out in the world. I mean, watch a commercial. You know, we are inundated with what we think we should know by other commercials just telling us how and what we should believe, and not learning ourselves. Or we just copy our parents and say, well, I'm going to do buy term and invest the rest because my mom told me to do that, and and that's what she did, and we just follow that lead. What I ask is, how's that working out for your mom? How is that working out for the boomers right now, and in this political crisis and in our retirement crisis that we're experiencing? We've had the biggest rise in the market since the 80s, right? It's been going up. Do we really see that? Or is there a bigger divide? And we need to take control of our financial future. We are going to be entrepreneurs, and we have to start thinking like banks, not like the banks want us to think. What did the banks do with their money? and why did they charge you like 20% on money that you then give them money for a savings account, and they give you less than 1% for that same money? Why don't we take control of that?
So that leads to my next question. Why would I pay? Because I'm paying interest on my own money because the why would I even do that? What's the point or the logic behind that?
Yeah. So the phrase we use a lot is that you finance everything you buy. Either you're paying interest on a loan that you take from a bank, or the car loan company, the credit card. You're paying interest when you take out money to go buy something. Or if you save money up, then go buy that car or make that major purchase, you're losing what that money could have grown into, the opportunity cost of using those funds. And that also has a cost to it, right? So you finance everything that you buy. But what if you could have your cake and eat it too, right? You could save up that money to go buy that car, right? What?
I love cake.
Oh, cake is good. Yeah. Save up that money to go buy that car. But when you take the money out to buy the car, the money is still growing as if you didn't touch it. What if you could do that? Well, guess what? That's exactly what Bank on Yourself does. And I've never met another financial concept that can do that. If you know something, please let me know.
Yes, please reach out. Please reach out. Ask the comments. We have a question from our live audience. Are you guys available for a question?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, sure.
All right. So we have the incredible Miss Shanique Henry. What companies do you recommend? I think she means, and Shanique, you should come back in the questions and clarify. What companies do you recommend for Bank on Yourself professionals or for that whole life policy? So Shanique, give us some clarification, but do any of you guys want to touch that?
Yeah, I think she's asked. Most often people are asking, what life insurance companies do you work with? And we have a handful of them. One thing that's awesome is that we're brokers, so we can work with whatever company is best for the client. So that's what we do, is the research. We find the best company for the person we're working with. We match them together. And sometimes we show them 2 or 3 different companies before we decide. But you really want to work with a Bank on Yourself professional who works with multiple companies to help you find the right company for you. You don't want to just go straight to a company. And sometimes they change. So I don't want to put out on YouTube for, the rest of time a specific company, because you never know. They could not be profitable or they could change something. And so we want to make sure that we're only talking about companies and working with companies that are doing well today.
Perfect. Yeah, and
you don't
want to try this on your own.
We have personally policies with 4 different companies ourselves, and Amanda actually had a conversation with somebody who was with one of the companies that we use, and this was crazy. They had no idea how to structure the policy like we do. And they were asking her advice on how to do these policies. And then we're like, you work strictly for that company. You should know this, wouldn't you?
Right. They're like a career agent is what they call them, where they can only represent one company.
Did you send them your bill, Amanda?
No, I helped them. Hopefully they will help a lot of people in return, and I'll feel good about it.
Absolutely. We have another question from Patience Dean of Arbitrage Queen. Her company, can you use the money from Bank on Yourself to invest in real estate or pay off debt?
Yep, it's your money. You can do whatever you want with it.
And so I like to think about this as there's a couple ways. You use the money, the cash in your policy, and if it's like a 20% interest on the credit card, and then you do have a policy loan, right? It's 5% simple on the policy loan as you're accessing, which is greater. That 22% you want to get rid of,
right?
And then that 5% is a lot less. That is then 17% growth, right, on your money that you've then made because of saving interest. And then on the flip side, so then you've paid off that consumer side. The other side I like to think about, and we just did this ourselves. We just moved, actually we moved into Ohio March 13th, and the government shut down, everything shut down March 14th. But we used our policy as the 20% down payment on our house. So when we bought the house, we used our policy 20% down. I'm going to keep a mortgage for a long, long time, but I don't have to pay PMI insurance. And I'm going to aggressively pay back my loan to myself because I'm going to use that again for another real estate property or for my business for whatever reasons I want.
And that is the key. That is the key. You've essentially become your own bank. Hence the coin name, Bank on Yourself. You didn't have to go and borrow it. You didn't have to go through the pre-approval process at some financial institution. You just said, I want to access my own money. I need it for X. I'm going to save here. Here's the value to me, saving on the interest. And you're going to have that. You're going to have the mortgage anyway. You're going to have that property. You're going to live there. This may be your forever home. Or like Patience Dean even asked, this may be an investment property. So you've saved on interest. And I loved how you slid it in there. I needed a little, I wanted you to expound on that. You said simple interest. And so you guys, I don't want anyone to overshadow. Simple interest means the money accrues, but it doesn't change on the balance. The balance does not change the interest payment. So there's simple interest and there's complex interest, which compounds as the balance change. So I wanted to kind of touch that out because that's important, because you said it, and I want my audience to get to a better place. I wanted that explanation. Here's a question, a follow-up question. Do you recommend adding a policy writer for Bank on Yourself?
Yeah, I'll take this question. This might be a little nerdy. Please bear with me. So what we actually do with Bank on Yourself is we take what's called the base of a policy, and it's kind of like a hull of a ship, but instead of a big tanker, we shrink down the base of the policy into more like a little sailboat. If it's like the hull of a ship. But a sailboat's not going to do much, just the hull of the boat sitting there. So we add these special riders to the policy. There's 3 that are on most policies typically. One is a term insurance rider that acts as the mast on the sailboat. And the only reason we add that term insurance rider is that we can add a big paid up additions rider, which is like the sail on the sailboat. Yep. And that's where the majority of most policies, where the majority of the cash is going. That's what catches the wind or catches your cash, gets it growing, gets the boat moving, and growing your cash over time. And then there's a third special rider that's called an accelerated death benefit rider, which allows you to access your death benefit if you get a chronic or terminal illness, help you cover medical expenses, pay for a nursing home, take a trip around the world, throw a big party, whatever you want to do with it. And so those are like the special riders that are typically added. Again, each policy is uniquely designed for each individual, and you want to work with a Bank on Yourself professional to make sure yours is designed properly. Kind of like if you're building a sailboat or say a yacht, you'd want to work with a person who's built a lot of yachts to make the one that's custom tailored to you for all your needs.
Ooh, I love it. I love all this tea. Oh my God. Do you have time? We got 2 more questions. Do you have time for 2 more questions?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's dive right in, y'all. You guys have fired me, right? I'm supposed to be asking the questions. My audience have fired me.
Love it.
Miss Patience,
you're the go-between. Love it.
I'm the go-between. I'm the middle guy. I'm the third wheel. I love it. Is there a vesting period when you get the policy before you can borrow from it? So that sounds like you got a new policy. How long do I have to wait before I can actually utilize that policy for investment purposes or whatever?
So you can access the money once the check clears the bank, pretty much. Then you can access and turn around and take a loan from that policy. So I've had people put in, and immediately within a week or so, they took it out. and paid off a whole lot of high interest credit cards right away. And so they just want to make sure that the checks clear the bank pretty much, and then you can access it right away. If it's even like a monthly amount, say you're doing $500 a month or something like that, you can take a loan. Part of that $500 can come back and be used again in your cash flow. So right away.
Love it. Love it. Great. Woo! Love it. Woo! Miss Brenda Wallace asks, do you do this outside of the US? Do you do any bank on yourself sessions outside of the US?
Yeah, we are licensed in the United States. So you have to work with us, you have to have some kind of interest in the United States, whether you own a business here, maybe you're a US citizen that's living abroad, but you still come back. We can definitely talk to you. And if you say are not connected to the US in any way, we do know other people that work in other countries like Canada or England or France that we could connect you with to help you there, and would love to do that.
Whoop. There you go. So Miss Brenda Wallace, please get in contact with them. And how can my audience connect with you? Let's go there.
Yeah, the best way is grandmaswealthwisdom.com. There you can check out our podcast, our YouTube channel, or there's a button that says request a meeting. We'd love to schedule just a 15-minute intro call, answer any additional questions you have, talk about what our process is like, and if we should move forward.
Love it. Also go to our YouTube channel, Grandma's Wealth Wisdom. Amanda does daily videos every day. She's been writing content, and she's a really good thinker. I don't know if you know about the Enneagram, but she's a 5 on the Enneagram, which is she likes to take information in. And
you can say hoard. I hoard information.
She hoards information. She's a hoarder of that. Luckily, it's not other things. And then, but what we're learning is, or what she's learning is, to give it away, give it out. And so this is a way of her writing that out and helping people learn, like from our mistakes, our challenges, how to become wealthy. And so even this past week is how to become a millionaire. We are not there yet, but we will be soon. And you learn from other millionaires. How do they do it? And usually they're not investing in ETFs and 401ks. They're usually doing other things. So anyway, go subscribe to Grandma's Wealth Wisdom. I did want to say one thing on why we're a little different. We are still activists. We've always been activists. Activism is a huge part of why we got into business and why we end up in this industry. Now, what Amanda had said was that we shrink that base of the ship down. Now, most people, why they say insurance is so expensive is they say, well, it's so expensive because the ship is really big, right? Well, it is expensive when you do it that way. Well, we went into this because we want to change people's lives. That was our goal, ultimate goal. It's not about the money. I still want to pay myself, right? I'm still pay myself first and that kind of thing. But I don't have to make a ton of money, to make a difference, right? It's okay to not be uber wealthy and everybody's poor down the street, right? And so by making that shift for us, we felt good about doing what we do. So work with somebody who is in it for you, not just for their own commission's sake.
Yeah, what Brandon's saying is when we shrink that base of the policy or the hull of the ship down, we take a 50 to 70% commission cut when we do that. But we're willing to do it because we know it's changing people's lives.
We want to do that. Actually.
Yeah.
Wow. Big heart. Like, you guys have the biggest heart on the planet that I've ever seen. And that's why I guess I'm so engaged and I'm so in tune with your channel. It's absolutely amazing what you guys are doing. Tell us, who are your heroes and why?
Oh, yeah. Man, that's a hard one.
I'll go for it first, Brandon, if that's okay.
We're supposed to say Mother Teresa or something.
Yeah, well, so there's Mama T, but I also love like Joan of Arc, that like boldness that she had to stand up for what she believes in, right? No matter how crazy people thought she was. And then my dad, he was born in 1928. He was part of that greatest generation. He really taught me a lot about the value of money and to work hard for it, but also to not enjoy it too much, but enjoy it enough that you live a really full life.
I would say I am going to use the cheesy Jesus answer. And the reason I have this Bible verse on my arm. It says, "In humility, consider others better than yourself." And I put this on my arm, literally. It's right there. And the reason I put that on there is when Amanda and I were getting married, I told her she's going to move to the suburbs where I make the most money. And anyway, she'd move in with me. This Bible verse came up 5 times in a row, 5 days in a row. And I was like, oh crap, I got to move to Chicago. And this is going to not work out, and I moved to Chicago, drove, I made the most money, right? But I drove to there because I knew that it was putting others before myself, meaning my wife, Amanda. And now this whole concept is doing that same thing now. It's putting others before myself, doing that. And so Jesus is that answer for that. My mentor, Mark, too, is another one that I think is powerful. He went black.
Brenda, St. Kitts, amazing. Please reach out. Would love to chat. I'm hoping to come there in 2021 as well. Lord willing, COVID willing.
COVID, death to
Yes.
COVID. So Miss Brenda, connect with them. I wanted to plug that on the screen. So I was there. I heard what you said, Mr. Brandon. That's incredible. And that's super. And I love that you all are still activists. You're still giving, and you made a transition when you married your wife and you found the love of your life, that you knew what you had to do and you stayed true to the inscription, no matter what. You never altered the course. You never changed course. That's absolutely.
I put it on my arm mainly for a reminder to me, because you know how hard it is. People are stupid sometimes, and they're like, "Great, no, I got it." Anyway, and then mainly me, I'm stupid.
You're not stupid. You're far from it. Far from it, brother.
Sometimes I'm sure she's like, "Oh my gosh."
How do you all give back to the community?
Yeah, so we're regular tithers. We give above the tithe to charities that we believe in. And then we just help anybody that we can whenever we come across someone that needs some help, right? You see a need, you fill a need kind of thing. And we just love doing that. Sometimes we don't even realize what we're doing, and people come back to us later and it's like, you totally helped me back then and you did blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't remember doing that, but okay.
Aww. One of the unique things I'm learning about, and I have to do some more research on, is Christian giving ministries, health ministries.
Yeah.
That's a unique thing that has come about. Not just, it was here before COVID, but that's one topic that I want to do some research on. So I would love to talk to you guys about that in a future episode. You do use that.
Yeah.
And so it excited me when I heard about it. I love how it's designed and how it's set up, and it has some unique twerks about it that I think needs to get out there, especially when it comes to having children and how those costs are looked at. So Christian,
we don't have time to get into that today, but
not at all. Nope.
Amanda, did recently have a baby, a couple of 2 years now, and doing the health ministry and all of that. We had some experience, that's for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. We will get you back on the show and we will talk about that. How can my audience get in contact with you again? What's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, you got it right there at the bottom of the screen, grandmaswealthwisdom.com. Be sure you click on that request a meeting button and schedule a time. complimentary consultation, answer your questions, just get to know each other, 15 minutes. Why not? It's worth it, especially coming into this new year. You never know how it'll set the pace for the new year coming.
And we don't charge for any financial analysis. So none of that is at a cost. So, and of course, like this video, and, because I know he's going to say that. So
please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for the cue, Mr. Brandon. I appreciate it. But also, they have an incredible channel on YouTube, y'all. The Neelys present Grandma's Wealth Wisdom, and it is absolutely addictive. I've learned a ton, even in the very few episodes that I looked at. I got sucked into the next one, and then the next one. And they're short. They're not long. They're short, quick, to the point, factual, knowledge-based, informational episodes. So if you ever needed a refresher on something, you're like, oh, let me go back to the channel, and then you can listen real quick and get right back to where you were knowledge-wise. And I love that about them. So please check them out. Please like, share, and subscribe, and tune into them. That's all the time we have. I appreciate you. I gotta give this family back to their families. It is the holidays, y'all. So thank you, Mr. Brandon and Mrs. Amanda, for tuning in, and thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for coming on today and making time out of your busy schedule to come on this show. I appreciate you, and please don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Thanks, Marcus. You too. You're doing some really good work, and we appreciate being part of it.
I thank you for that. If there's anything else we can do for you, please reach out. You have my contact information. I am here for it all. And thank you all for tuning in to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Thank you for subscribing and supporting the show like you all have. This has been an incredible year, and we won't stop. We will continue to grow and learn together. So like I always say, y'all, take care of your family, take care of your friends, and take care of business. This is Marcus Norman and Mr. and Mrs. Brandon and Amanda Neely signing off. Love you guys. Bye.